What's going on, guys? It's Steve. This absolutely has to be addressed. Now, I know the past few videos have been centered around Carmelo Anthony, but this whole channel has been centered around Carmelo Anthony and the Knicks. But today, we're going to be talking about why Carmelo Anthony is the best Knick of all time, because I've been saying that in some of my videos, and some people are speaking out saying, no, he's not. Bernard King was better. Walt Clyde Frazier was better. Patrick Ewing was better. Listen. There's a difference between being more successful and being a completely better player. For example, Scottie Pippen has 6 NBA championships compared to LeBron James's 3. Is Scottie Pippen better than LeBron James? No. He may have had more success in terms of winning championships than LeBron, but that doesn't make him a better player. So we'll get to that in a second, and we're going to talk more on that. But let's go to everyone's favorite, Patrick Ewing being the greatest Knick of all time. And I agree, he's the second. I mean, I agree, he's one of the best Knicks ever, obviously, but he is the second best, not the best. And here's why. Patrick Ewing, when he was first drafted, every single person, the entire league was like, oh boy, New York has something, because this dude was like LeBron James coming out of high school. Everyone knew his name, everyone knew how dominant he was, and he had a not even decent, he had a really good career. He played with the Knicks his entire career except for his last 2 years in the league, okay? And if you consider, and he never averaged under 20 except for his last 2 years with the Knicks, but if you look at his career averages with the New York Knicks alone, okay, with the Knicks alone, it's 24 points per game, which is ridiculous, 10 rebounds, which is really good, 2 assists, 1 steal, 2.5 blocks, really, it's close to 3 blocks, so I'll say 3 blocks per game, okay? This dude was shooting 54% from the field. 54% from the field and 74% from the free throw line with the New York Knicks, excluding his last 2 seasons in Seattle and Orlando, where he averaged like 9 and 6 points per game, which was embarrassing, right? But he was old and out of his prime. He was like 38, 39 at that point in time. But with the Knicks, Patrick Ewing is a dominant player. We know this. But his skill set, he was very limited. But at the same time, you have to look at the era in which what was utilized more back then. And again, that was Michael Jordan's era, but everyone knows Michael Jordan's era wasn't full of shooting guards and small forward superstars and point guards like it is now, okay? It was filled with big men, superstars. You know, you had Patrick Ewing, you know, it was just Hakeem Olajuwon, the list can go on. It was filled with superstar big men, all right? So obviously he was great if he stood out with the elite big men. David Robinson was in this era, Shaquille O'Neal, okay, the list can go on. But here's something that people are not understanding. If you actually watch him play, his skill set was elite, but he was sort of like Dwight Howard. He never really improved his game. Now, he's a dominant low post player, dominant pick and roll player, but he never developed a mid-range jump shot. He was ineffective. Okay, he was ineffective. Okay, from outside the paint, he was an ineffective player. Great defensive player, great defensive big man. He could block shots, he can steal the basketball. He had good hands, good feet, good footwork, good IQ. He had all of that, right? But he just didn't develop into what he should have come. Okay, he should have been, you know, like Hakeem, like people say Hakeem's top 10 ever. That should have been Patrick Ewing. He just never developed his game like Hakeem Olajuwon did. Sort of like a Dwight Howard. You know, obviously one of the greatest big men ever, but they never really reached their max potential because they didn't work hard towards it. And this is something every Knick fan, you know, some of the younger ones that watch my videos probably don't know this, but there was a time, I can't remember if it's the conference finals or the semifinals. Obviously, the whole Pacers versus Knicks, the rivalry, you know, they hated each other, and obviously the Bulls were in this too. The Bulls and the Knicks hated each other, the Bulls and the Pacers hated each other. Reggie Miller fought with Michael Jordan. Reggie Miller fought with Patrick Ewing. Reggie Miller fought with Scott, what's his name? Who's the dude that sits on the dude that sits on the side? I can't remember his name right now. The director, Spike Lee. All right, but there was a point in time where Patrick Ewing had a wide open layup to win the game. I think it was either to win or to tie. I'm pretty sure it was to win. He had a wide open layup to tie the game, and he missed. He missed it, and the Knicks season was over against the Pacers. That was the end of it, and that was, he never recovered. Sort of like that dude from the Magic that missed those 2 free throws and his career never recovered, his confidence never recovered. It was like that with Patrick Ewing. He never came back from that. Now, obviously, he brought the New York Knicks to the NBA Finals, which is something that Carmelo Anthony did not do. Okay, so that's a knock on Melo and a plus for Patrick Ewing. Okay, but in terms of overall skill set, and if you want to look at teams, that Knick team was better than any Knick team Carmelo Anthony has ever had. All right, because obviously we had Jose Calderon and Andrea Bargnani that wants to shoot threes when we're up by 2 with, like, what was it, like 26 seconds left or something like that. He's shooting the three. Like, come on, what are you doing? You know, those are the type of teammates Carmelo Anthony had. Patrick Ewing, great player, but again, he never really reached his max potential. Now let's go to another player that is he's not overhyped. It's just people think he was extremely dominant with the New York Knicks when in reality he only played 3 seasons with the Knicks, and only 1 season he played more than 70 games. His first season with the Knicks in 1982-83, he only played 68 games. Now, I mean, you know, he didn't play 14 to the 82, but he pretty much played the majority of the season. Next year, he played 77 games. And the year after, he played 55. Then the year after that, in 85-86, he was injured. I think that was his, I think it was a knee injury or ankle. One of those two. And then 86-87, he only played 6 games. So, Bernard King really only had 3 seasons with the Knicks. And you want to know why people believe, especially the younger people, the younger generation, believe Bernard King was such a dominant Knick? Because he had his best season of his career with the Knicks. Okay, in 83-84, he averaged 26 points per game, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. In 84-85, when he only played 55 games, he averaged 33 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. Now, most of this younger generation only believe Bernard King was a great Knick because Carmelo Anthony came out and said when he first got traded to the Knicks, they had that whole promotion and the whole show at the Garden right before he played the Bucks. And it's funny because he played the Bucks with the Nuggets the day before, and then he played them again with the Knicks the day after. But he said, I wanted to be Bernard King because that was when Melo was growing up. You know, Bernard King was, that's why. So the majority of people don't know Bernard King only played 3 full seasons with the New York Knicks. Okay, he's only a 4-time All-Star. He's only a 4-time All-NBA. He's an NBA scoring champion, obviously with the 33 points per game. But that's it. You know, I'm not knocking Bernard King. He's a great player. He made the Hall of Fame for a reason. One of the top 100 players to ever play this game. But for people to say that he's better than Carmelo Anthony, it doesn't add up when his career averages are 22, 5, and 3. Okay? So now let's talk about Walt Frazier, who won the NBA championship with the New York Knicks and played the majority of his career with the New York Knicks, except for his last 3 seasons in the league. Now, with the Knicks, Walt Clyde Frazier's average was 18 points per game, which is pretty good. 6 rebounds and 5 assists. Pretty solid point. That's like Magic Johnson numbers. 18 points per game, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Now, he's a 7-time All-Star, 6-time All-NBA, 2-time NBA champion with the New York Knicks. Only time they ever won a championship. 7-time All-Defense. That's where a lot of people don't remember Walt Clyde Frazier for. Walt the Glide Frazier. He is a great defender. Okay? He was an All-Star MVP, whatever. He was All-Rookie in 67, 68. Great player. But totality of everything combined, he had more success than Melo with the Knicks. That's not even a question. He is the most successful Knick of all time. However, Melo's skill set is still better. And this is why I repeatedly say Carmelo Anthony is the greatest Knick of all time. Patrick Ewing is not, Bernard King isn't, and neither is Walt Clyde Frazier. So let's look at Carmelo Anthony's career just with the New York Knicks. So he came halfway through 2010, 2011. So we're going to skip that and just focus on 2011, 12, all the way up to 2016, 17. Now he's an all-star every single year with the New York Knicks. With the New York Knicks, he averaged 25 points per game, 7 rebounds, which is pretty good, and 3 assists. His career average is pretty much 25, 7, and 3. That pretty freaking good numbers. That's what Carmelo Anthony does. He can shoot the basketball. Now, here's where people are going to say, Walt Clyde Frazier has the defense. I'll give you that. Melo doesn't have the defensive skill set that Walt Clyde Frazier has, which is clear with the all defense and et cetera, et cetera. But the totality of the skill set on the offensive end, the passing ability, people don't know, but Melo has a great passing ability. I watch him every single game, every single year for the past 6, I think it's like 7 years now. 6 for the past 6, 7 years, every single game. I was what, 14 when he came here? 14 years old. Every single game. And I'm 20 now. Okay, I didn't miss one single game. Now, let me stop, okay? I missed a few games here and there because sometimes it's hard to watch. When he doesn't play, I don't watch. I'm sorry, but they don't win when he doesn't play. Now, people are going to say, Steve, you're not even a Knick fan. Look, I've been watching before Melo, before Stoudemire, before all that fiasco. I've been watching since we had Isaiah Thomas as our head coach, and we all know how that went. Besides the point. Carmelo Anthony's skill set. He's a 10-time All-Star, 6-time All-NBA. He's a scoring champion. Okay, his skill set, he can pass the basketball. It doesn't reflect in the stat sheet, but he can pass. He has a passing ability. His IQ. He's the clutchest player statistically since 2003. You don't believe me? Look it up. He's one of the greatest scorers of all time. Hands down, a top 5 scorer in league history. Kevin Durant, Michael Jordan, LeBron James. I guess you can put LeBron in there. It depends, but I'm just going to name some of the greatest scorers ever. Kevin Durant, LeBron, Melo, MJ, Kobe, Allen Iverson. You know, the list can go on. I think James Harden might go in there as well because James Harden is a freaking animal. But Carmelo Anthony is in that conversation. Okay, that's unreal. So just in terms of the skill set, I'm sorry to say this, but it's true. That is why I say repeatedly, and I'm going to keep saying, that is why Carmelo Anthony is the greatest Knick to ever play on this team.